What's going on, PWC fans? It's your boy Frank and the Furious, bringing you the first edition of our Season 5 Power Rankings for the PWC, the Pokemon World Championship. I'm very glad to be bringing this to all y'all today. I've been super excited to get into this. I've been planning this for like over a month now. I've been talking with the commissioners of the league, as I call them. And this is a fun idea I had, and I'm very excited to bring it to you guys. This is going to be a weekly thing. Each week on Sunday, I am going to bring you my power rankings for the week. So once week 1 has concluded, the following Sunday will hopefully contain the week 1 power rankings. Now, if you don't know what the power rankings are basically where a third party is going to judge how the entire league is doing, which team is hot and which team is not, and ranking them from 1 to all the way down to how many there are. We have 14 coaches, so it will be number 1 will be the best, I think, and number 14 will be the worst, I believe. So yes, that is exactly what a power ranking is. It's all subjective, so this has nothing to do with me hating on a coach if I have them at 14. None of that at all. I take a step back and I look at these battles as if you switched out. It didn't matter the person who it was. So none of it is personal at all. And especially this week, post-draft, I will be ranking each team on how they were well constructed during the draft. Do I think this team had a lot of thought into it, or does this team just look lazily put together? Now, I'm going to give a little spoilers here. I do not think there's a bad team. All these teams, I think, have very good aspects to them, but of course, some are better than others. Not all teams are created equal, but number 14, I don't think it's a bad team. I don't think it's my least favorite of them all, but I don't think it's a bad team. It can still win. I think it just might have a little bit of a tougher time winning, but it definitely still has the ability to win. So, if you are not a coach in the league, you might not know the rules. So, when it comes to drafting, the PWC has its own gimmick, and that gimmick is the signature Pokemon. Rule number 1, each coach will have a signature Pokemon that must play each match. The signature will be marked by the little S symbol. So what this means is the signature Pokemon you choose, of course, has to come every match no matter what, and if it does not come, it is an automatic loss. So this changes up the dynamics, how you're going to prep, because you know you're going to see one Pokemon. It's not like where you're prepping, you're like, oh, I'm 99% positive my opponent's going to bring X. No. You know this Pokemon is coming. So that's going to change the dynamics of the battle. And you know your opponent knows you're bringing one Pokemon, no matter what. Rule number 2, coaches will draft 11 Pokemon with limits of 2 to S tier and 3 to all others. We have 5 tiers. Coaches can potentially draft from S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. 5 tiers, back like in the olden days. But yeah, we don't do a point system. It's just you can't have too many Pokemon in one certain tier. But yeah, 2 Pokemon from S tier and 3 from all others. That includes your signature, I would like to mention. So the signature pick, if it was, say, a B tier Pokemon, that does not mean you can draft 3 more B tiers. Signature picks are included. Rule number 3, signatures can only be B tier or lower. This is a little spin on the little ball here. So you think, okay, signature Pokemon must bring any wig. I'll make my signature Torrent T. No, you can't do that. A Torrent T? I already said the T. But you can't do that. It's got to be a B tier or lower, so you're not bringing an amazing mod. Of course, there are good, solid B tiers, but you're not bringing something like Excadrill every week. You're not bringing Urshifu each week. You can't, well, I mean, you can, but that's not your official signature. And rule number 4, Pokemon with the same Pokedex number cannot be drafted by the same coach. This means you cannot draft a Mega Pokemon in its normal form. Can't do that. However, this does not apply to Pokemon like Silvally or Urshifu, where we, well, actually, Silvally, if you draft it, you get all the forms of Silvally. Urshifu, we split them into 2 different Pokemon and said that's fine. But yeah, you couldn't draft, say, the 2 Urshifu forms, for example. But yes, let's get into this. At number 14, I'm sorry, someone's got to be here. And in this case, it was Coach Prof, coach of the Be Gone Thought Cricket Tot, which, if we were talking about team logos and names, this might be number one. This list would be completely backwards, maybe. But I got issues with this team. It's got some good pieces. Zygarde and Mega Medicham are going to be threats every week that you are going to have to worry about. Like, Mega Medicham might be one of the best Megas in draft format. It is amazing and just rocks you. And Zygarde being able to hit flying types, that is also amazing. It harshly limits what can wall this ground type here. But for me, that's where a lot of the positives end, is because the first pick I see, I am definitely not sold on Florges being the signature. I am not a fan of this being the Pokemon that has to come every week. Florges is a strange Pokemon for me. I genuinely believe that if Florges was not a fairy type, it would not be as highly rated as it is. Florges, it gets bailed out by its own typing, but it looks good on paper, but then when you use it, there's so many kinks in the system. It's a tough Pokemon, not a tough Pokemon to use, but Florges can become a liability sometimes. And that being the Pokemon chosen to come every single week, I would go on to say that if Florges is the signature for the whole season, half the games it's going to be a liability. Half the games, the coach is going to look at this and go, I wish I didn't have to bring this Pokemon. But back over to the positives. Back over to Zygarde and Medi. We also got Bisharp here, Raikou. We got some hard-hitting Pokemon. This team is going to focus on offense this season. I believe. Offense is how they're going to win matches. And I know that sounds strange, like, oh yeah, of course you win matches through offense. But I mean a run and gun type offense. Get this game done as soon as possible. Run them out of the room with Medicham, with Zygarde, potentially Bisharp, maybe Tornadus Eye can come in and do something. Raikou, its stock was hurt a little bit due to the loss of hidden power, but if your opponent has a weak ground type, Raikou can look amazing. Stakataka, I have my questions about, and that leads into another negative of mine. I have my questions about some of these picks, Stakataka being one of them, others being Delphox. And I know I just mentioned it, but Bisharp's one of those Pokemon where I'm like, it's another Pokemon that looks good on paper, but when you put it into draft format, it just seems to lack that presence it needs to utilize that massive attack stat. It will rely on Sucker Punch a little too much. And I don't know if I'm sold on the Bisharp pick, but we shall see. And another negative, Delphox. We all like to crap on Delphox. It is a special Pokemon thing. They all come together and crap on this mon. But I look at Delphox, I look at Jellicent, I look at Tangela. I don't like this Fairy Water Grass core. It looks very rushed, put together. Like, oh no, I haven't drafted any of these cores. Jellicent's on the board. I'll grab that. Jellicent's good. I like Jellicent. Tier 4, I think that's good value. Then the Delphox pick comes in. I'm like, I'm a little questioning there. Then the Tangela pick comes in. I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. Vespiquen being the tier D pick. Now, personally, I think our tier D was very shallow. I think there's a lot of mons in tier C that could be moved down a tier. But the Vespiquen pick, I'm actually very interested in. I won't lie, I don't have a lot of faith in this, but I would like to see it come to a match due to heavy-duty boots being a thing. It gives them more value, maybe putting in some work. I would like to see that. I'm sorry, Prof. I gotta put you at last. I'm just overall not a fan of this team. Now, coming at 13, we got my boy, Coach Sully, and the coach of the Anchorage Appletons, which I love this logo. I think it's adorable. Sully's got a strange problem. He's got a lot of good Pokemon. Zoroark being the signature is very interesting. You kind of force your opponent to play little mind games every single week. Zoroark kind of does that with Illusion. It's going to kind of also force stuff like status moves like Toxic or Hazard, so you can able to figure out, okay, this Pokemon just took Hazards for the first time, or okay, this thing did not take 25% because it should be weak. So this is a very interesting mon to bring every week. And then you look at threats, you got Heatran, Mega Lopunny, Scolipede, I love, Alola Ninetales, Dragonite, Vaporeon, another Pokemon I love. But there's one problem. I don't think this team has good synergy. I don't think there's any synergy with this team. I think this team was also kind of hastily put together because the main thing that I look at this, I see Alola Ninetales and then I see Dragonite. That is such a strange pickup for me, especially when Alola, if you bring them both to the same game as Dragonite, are you really going to want to have Marvel Skill? Because at some, or Marvel Skill? I believe that's the ability it gets. But basically, once it takes, if it's at full health, then it only takes half damage, I believe. But yeah, you're going to have Hail set up, potentially. And whenever Hail's up, you're not going to want to bring a Dragonite. You're going to think twice. I really don't like that. The Megalop and Zygarde combo, I really like for being a little bit of a signature combo. I really like that. He has excellent pivot opportunities. Since Lop's got U-turn now, that's amazing. Baton Pass with Vaporeon. Regieleki, I'm very interested in. You get Volt Switch on that. Decidueye and Minior got U-turn. So good pivot options to get out to that high-flying offense when it comes to his Pokemons like Decidueye or Vaporeon. Zoroark's also got U-turn. But another Pokemon I have a question with is good old Claydol. It seems like every time I'm in a draft league, there's always someone who drafts Claydol. And then the person who drafts Claydol realizes how bad it is. Claydol is just not a good Pokemon. It looks good on paper. You see these high defenses. It can spin. It can set up rocks every time. Every time you're either prepping or you bring it, you're like, this thing doesn't look good. This thing looks terrible. This thing looks like it's inviting those water, grass types, ice types that just come in, hit me, get some momentum. I don't like Claydol. I really don't. I don't think this is a good pick. Sully, if you're out there, listen to this. Please, realize this first. But another reason why I look at Claydol and it scares me even more, Sully doesn't have a lot of defensive Pokemon. Vaporeon is truly his only dedicated defensive Pokemon outside of Claydol. I do not like that. That's going to force Heatran to be more defensive. And defensive Heatran's good, but another good thing about Heatran is it can do so much. So if you're kind of forced to run a defensive variant every week, that cannot be good. Yeah, with Vaporeon, he's got Wish Passing. So if Sully's going to go for more of a bulky offense here, all power to him. But like I said, I don't like the synergy here. And I don't like this defensive core. But yeah, Sully at 13. Now, moving on to number 12, we got the San Francisco Celebi. And oh boy, this team, I kind of like, there's a lot of Pokemon I like on this. I like Alakazam, I like Garchomp, I like Alolan Persian. But one issue I just kind of have with this team a little bit is some of these pickups are just somewhat strange to me. The major one being Manectric. I really do not like Manectric. Manectric is a poor man's Electivire. Like, please get rid of this thing and then pick up Electivire and just pretend you are actually trying. I hate Manectric. I think Manectric is terrible. I don't think this is a Pokemon I ever see him bringing it, and if he does, it's just going to be more of a liability than it is going to be a help. Another question I have is Avalugg. Yes, I know heavy-duty boots have improved this thing's value. However, Avalugg's just so weak on that special side. It's just so lopsided towards the defensive end. Ice not being a good defensive typing. Yeah, it gives you a spinner, and it has recover, so you have that kind of combo, but I really do not like this pickup. This is a Pokemon I think being in C tier is overpriced. I'm not a fan of this pickup. And the signature, I'm iffy on Aerodactyl. I like Aerodactyl. I've used it before. I think it's good mon, but I don't think it's a Pokemon that can come every single week. It gives you a fast defog. You can defog with boots, and you can set up those rocks, play a defensive rock. I've had a special defensive Aerodactyl before. I brought that to a match, and it worked perfect. It did its job. Due to its insane speed stat, it can do that very well. However, I'm just not sold on it being the Pokemon coming every single week. Now, leaning over to the positives, one thing I do like about Aerodactyl and a lot of his team, he's a very fast team. It's going to be hard to run Firemaster or coach Firemaster out of the building every night. I mean, Aerodactyl, Alakazam, Garchomp, Alolan Persian, Manectric, all above base 100. Aerodactyl, stupid fast. Alakazam, stupid fast. He's got some high-flying Pokemon on his team. Chandelure, you might see Scarf on. It's base 80, but, I mean, Scarf Chandelure, potentially. Maybe a Trick Set, too. Braviary. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with that. I like Braviary, but I have not used it in competitive too much, so I want to see what he can do with it. But, very speedy team. He's got excellent opportunities to set hazards. Aerodactyl is going to bring Stealth Rock at some point this season. You got Ferrothorn with Stealth Rock and Spike. I like that. Garchomp can be an offensive rocker or a defensive rocker. I like his hazard setup. Like, only 3 Pokemon on his team, I believe, can set up hazards, but I like all 3 of them setting up hazards. So that's why I think this is a strength for him. And he has very good support options. Like Ferrothorn with the removal HP fire, its value has just shot through the roof now. You don't have to get paranoid wondering your opponent brought HP fire on something weird. You don't. So you can set up Leech Seed Switch, you can set up Spikes, Knockoff. That's very nice. Alolan Persian, I love this Pokemon. I think it's incredible. I mean, you get access to all the advantages Dark types get. And with Fur Coat, you can be very excellent defensively. And if you run Technician, you can be pretty solid offensively too with Nasty Plot as an option. I mean, my buddy Josh, he had this thing in a league. He brought a Gunk Shot Alolan Persian to counter a Tapu Bulu, and it ended up working perfectly. So this thing is very interesting. That Ferrothorn, Mega Heracross, that's going to hit hard on offense. He's got a lethal offense. Alakazam, Garchomp, Heracross, Primarina on the special side with Alakazam. Very lethal. It's going to be hard to wall this team. He's got many wall breakers. Now the question is, can he take those hits back? That's the one thing I'm a little worried about with this team. In my opinion, I think it's going to really struggle against Fairy and Water types. I know Ferrothorn's there, but outside of Ferrothorn, I think it's really going to struggle on that aspect. It relies on Pharaoh a little too much, in my opinion. But yeah, I know I had a lot of positive to say, but like I said, there's a lot of Pokemon in this team I actually really enjoy. So might be a little lopsided, but that's why. Well, moving on to number 12, we got Coach Reckless and the Awesome Ducks. And let me tell you before we get into this team, I love this logo. I think it's hilarious. I think it's adorable. I love it. Love everything about it. It is so cool. So yeah, I'm glad to be reviewing it. Now moving into the team, we got the signature being a Alolan Marowak, which, just like Florges, I really do not like this being a signature. I'm not a fan of Alolan Marowak, period, let alone that being a signature Pokemon. Yeah, you're going to have it hold the thick club, and you're going to do a lot, but as a Pokemon that's super slow, it's going to come every single week. That's just asking for a little bit of trouble, in my opinion. I don't think this thing's going to be a good signature. But one thing that really helps the value with this team, I like Torn. Tornadus T is incredible. It is annoying. It is just downright mean sometimes. So, honestly, that Pokemon alone might just boost this team up a spot. I really like Tornadus T. Mew, I'm cautiously optimistic with Mew because it's one of those Pokemon where I feel you can do anything with this Pokemon, but it almost always seems to get pigeonholed into a defensive rocker and hazard removal. And I think that's a weakness of Mew personally, but who knows? Well, we can see what Reckless can do with Mew. I would like to see that get a little creative with this. One weakness I think he has with this team is rockers. I mean, Mew, Alolan Marowak, you got Chestnut setting up Spikes, and I don't think Diggersby gets Stealth Rock. So, yeah, I think that's one issue there personally. I am just not a massive fan when it comes to his hazard game because, like I said, I think he may just get pigeonholed into setting up Stealth Rocks with Mew, and I'm not a fan of that. The Omega Altaria pick, I am also a little sus on because the removal of return and frustration kind of limits its physical offensive side. It forces the body slam, which, yeah, you can get the paralysis, not bad. But I don't know how much stock Altaria is going to have. I would like to see it do good. It's one of my favorite Megas. So I hope Reckless does good with this thing, but I don't know about it. Rotom Wash is always a good Pokemon. I mean, I like how he was not afraid to draft another water type of Blastoise. I don't think there's a problem there when it comes to Rotom and Blastoise. I don't think it causes any major issues on his team. Gives him a good spinner. I do like that. He's got decent removal. I like that with Spin on Blastoise, Defog on Torrent, Altaria, Mew. He's got options. And the Magneton synergy I also really like because you can Magnet Pull Steel types and it allows Torrent to become even more of an issue for your opponent. You don't have to run a Heat Wave if you're stuck in a situation with 5 moves. So I do like that little synergy there. But I think Bulky Waters could be an issue for this team. Yeah, Chestnut's more defensively orientated, and I'm not too big of a fan when it comes to Chestnut competitively. And Rotom Wash is good, but I feel like Bulky Waters will just overwhelm Rotom Wash a little too many times for this team to put in good work. And especially with his signature being a fire type. So that's going to bait in the Bulky Water every single week. So that's my issue there. But yeah, outside of that, it's a lower on the list, but I do like this team. I think it's got good potential. But yeah, its speed tiers are also slow as well. I mean, Torrent is the fastest, and then it drops off heavily with 100 at Mew, and then just continues falling. I think up next is, 80 from Gardevoir, I believe? Or, no, I think Type Null is 95. I'm trying to remember. Or is it 59? I can never remember if it's speed or HP is 59, but yeah. His speed tiers are not great. He's a slower team, so he's going to have to find a way to get around that, but I have faith in him. So moving on to number 10, we got the FC Victini Pilsen, Coach Gill leading the way. The signature pick being Savali is very interesting. I like this signature. I kind of do. It's definitely very interesting, to say the very least, because Savali, its stock rose a little bit when Gen 8 came around. And now that you have to force your opponent to prep for any type of Savali, now, of course, coaches are not going to sit here and like, well, can I counter Ghost Savali? Dark, Fairy, Poison? No, they're not going to do that. But, like, you never really know what this thing's going to be, and it's going to open up the door for Gil to be more creative with this. So I like to see that. The Mega Diancie pick is always incredible. Diancie's just mean. It's a good mon. Love it. And one thing I don't love about this team, it's good though, but I hate it. Skarmoris, Quagsire, oh my god, Gourgeist, this defensive core is just downright mean. He's got opportunities to play a stall game. Now, personally, I don't think stall is very good when it comes to draft format. I think it can get exposed very well, but Guild has not fallen completely into that sphere of playing a stall game exactly. His whole team's not built around stalling out the opponent, but he can if he has the possibility to. That's what I like about this team. One thing I don't really like about this team is outside of Diancie, there's no wall breakers. Like, there is no raw strength that's just going to punch a hole. Like, Zeraora, yeah, it's really fast, but I've never had Zeraora where I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, give me my kill now. No, it's outside of Mega Diancie, I don't see good wall breaking potential. So Gil's going to play long games, I feel like, this season. I can see very long games if him and his opponent are both playing decently. I can see long games. I do like small aspects he added, like such as Mega Diancie being major weak to Bullet Punch. That is one of the major ways to pressure it. Oh, how am I going to get rid of that? Oh, I'm going to get Indeedee. So set up that Psychic Terrain. You can't click a priority move now. Bullet Punch is not an option anymore. I like that synergy. I like it. Not a too big fan of Indeedee, but I would like to see what he can do with it, to say the very least. And I like you're going to put that thought in the back of your opponent's mind, and it can set up Mega Diancie to be even better in the end game when your opponent may have Pokemon like Scizor or Pangoro that can pressure you out with a Bullet Punch. Another aspect I'm not a fan of with this team would be the Glaceon pick. The Glaceon pick's a little strange to me, but I do like Glaceon as a Pokemon, so I would like to see it work, but I don't know how I feel about that being his selection for his team. But when I also look at this team, he's very taunt weak. I could see taunt becoming a major problem for him. Not outside his defense, because a lot of his offense, it's going to require some setup. Zeora, you might want to be bringing Calm Mind or Bulk Up some weeks. Infernape, you might bring a setup if you want to sweep with that. Alolan Muck, yeah. I could see this team really struggling if his opponent has good taunt users like Torrent T. I could see this being an issue against it. But I do think this team is well enough constructed, very versatile signature, many good immunities I would like to mention too. We are going to see later in the draft, someone did draft Spectrier, and he's got Blissey, which is going to be a major check to that thing. So he's got that good Ghost immunity. He's got a good Psychic immunity with Alolan Muck, good Ground immunity with Skarmory, excellent Dragon immunity with Mega Diancie. I like his selections here. And if he doesn't have an immunity that he wants, he has Silvally to just change types. So, I'm very interested to see with Guild Team. I really like it. I'm sad I had to put it a little lower than I wanted to, but I really do like this team. I really like this team. But moving on to number 9, we are going to have Coach Karakasa of the Grounded Gibbles, which, by golly, that is an adorable logo. I absolutely adore it. Another thing I adore with this team, oh my god, after last season, I personally played in Season 4 of the PWC, and I selected Mienshao as my signature, and that was one of my best decisions I think I made that season. It was incredible because every week you're forcing your opponent to prepare for a banded high jump kick. Straight to the face. Reckless banded high jump kick hurts. If you do not resist it, or if you are not a ghost type and you don't have a massive resist to it, it is going to hurt. So that I love as a signature pick. It can be versatile too with U-turn. You can run Scar potentially if you need to outspeed something fast. You can even be a defensive variant with Regenerator. I believe I ran that last season for something. But you can find a defensive variant that can actually work. Not too shabby for it. You got access to knockoff too. So, not too bad. Another aspect I like about this team, he's got some heavy hitting offense with Tapu Koko and Landorus. Landorus T, that is. I really do like this. It is lethal. And oh, you think you can deal with Landorus and Koko. Oh, well, here comes a Mega Swampert. It doesn't even need Rain to punch a hole, but if he gets Rain up, that's going to punch a hole. You got Scizor there too, that's also very mean. This is a mean offense. Sneasel's there, it's not going to do too much, it's not major strong, but it's a good knockoff user. You got good ice type moves. I mean, there's a reason why Sneasel should not be slept on, because it is not shabby. And a pickup I really like Musharna. I love that thing. I wish it was better in competitive. I want to use it in competitive personally. But it gives him access to Healing Wish, which, looking at Karakasa's team, this is going to be more of a high-running offense as well. I know he's got Umbreon there and Amoonguss, but outside of those two, he is an offensive-orientated team. So, Healing Wish, bringing that some weeks, I think is going to be really good. But a downside of this team is Rain. I always have Rain as a downside, personally. I do not think Rain is even decent in League format. I think if your opponent is semi-competent, Rain will become more of a liability than it will become an advantage. But an advantage Karakasa has is that he did not base his whole team around Rain. Yeah, he doesn't have an amazing fire type, but Charizard with heavy-duty boots, that gives it a lot more value now. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do with that. I would love to see him put in good work with that Pokemon. It's been years since that Pokemon has been decent competitively. So without its Mega forms, that is. So I would like to see him use normal Charizard with the good old boots and do well with it. But yeah, Mega Swampert, I could see becoming somewhat of a liability sometimes too with Rain. It is lethal on offense, but it is a very hit or miss Pokemon sometimes. And also, he has really no options for Hazard. His options for Hazards come from Landorus T and Swampert for Stealth Rocks. That is it. Grounded Gibbles aren't going to be playing Hazard games this season because they don't really have that option. Yeah, Landorus is a good Hazard setter, but this is going to more force it to play a more defensive role sometimes. You can run 3 attacks, Stealth Rock, but we also look on this other aspect. Where's his defoggers? I mean, he's got a decent amount of them. I believe Tapu Koko could defog, but he's got Landorus, Skarmory, got Charizard. But those aren't Pokemon I personally want to defog with. Those are personally Pokemon I want to put that 4th move as something else, like Swords Dance or U-Turn. It's not Swords Dance in Charizard's case, and I don't even know if it gets U-Turn, but you know what I mean. Those are Pokemon I'm too solid on, kind of forcing to bring defog every week. So I think his Hazard game, I think, is very weak, and hopefully he patches this up with some free agency moves, but if he runs into a Hazard stacking opponent, I could see this team really struggling. But he does have a grounded poison type with the Moongus, so who knows there. Yeah, that's also important, having a grounded poison type, because I really like T-Spikes. I think T-Spikes are really good. But yeah, and his defense, I'm not too big of a fan of Umbreon, but that's me personally. I will admit, it does put in work sometimes. I'm just not a super huge fan of it. And the major downside of this team, personally, this team was going to be number 1, but then he made a change and dropped it down to all the way number 9. I'm kidding, but he drafted Guzzlord and then proceeded to drop Guzzlord. And let me tell you, I'm still sad about it. I wanted to see good old Guzzy Boy do something this season, but sadly, the Glizzy Gobbler will not be playing as of yet this season. Keyword as of yet. If a coach drops and I fill in a role, well, let me tell you guys, I'm picking that bad boy up. But yeah, if a coach picks that up, I'll shoot you up in the power rankings. That's not a promise. I won't actually do that. But yeah, overall, I do like this team. It's a very average team. I don't think that's bad either. I don't think it's bad to be an average team, but I can see it. It has many good pieces to potentially put into work. Coming up at 8, we got Coach Tenshi in the Shonen Blacklist. And this team is also very interesting in my humble opinion. Incineroar being the signature, I don't mind it. I don't think it's too bad. Personally, when it comes to bringing a signature, I would not want it to be a Stealth Rock weak Pokemon because you force the Rocker to come every week, but that could sometimes come to his advantage if he sees coaches like a Karakasa who doesn't have a lot of Stealth Rockers. He might go, okay, Landorus might be a defensive variant this week to throw up Stealth Rocks. But Urshifu Rapid Strike, it's not as good as normal Urshifu, but it's still good. That's not a slight to it. Gardevoir, of course, is lethal. You can't switch into this thing well. The main way you're going to get rid of it is offensively pressure it. Salamence, I love to see heavy-duty boots is going to give it some more value. Now we don't have to worry about the Stealth Rocks. Mamoswine, one of those major Pokemon that counter Salamence. Well, now he has it. So, and I love Mamoswine too. He's got good offense. And I think that's going to work to his favor and detriment because I look at Tenshi's team. He is hyper offense. His defensive Pokemon kind of range from Furfrou, Indeedee Female maybe, and then Incineroar if he runs a defensive variant there. He does not have defense. Tenshi, if he's going to win his games, like I said before, he's going to play a run and gun offense. Let's get this game done as soon as possible. High flying offense. And it can work. It can work, but objectively looking at this team, I have to pull it down a little bit since it doesn't really have that defense to support it. Don't sleep on Bolton. Bolton can actually be pretty decent. I don't know how much of a fan of it with this team, with Magnezone there, but it also gives them a faster speed tier. So I'm not going to hate on it too much in this selection, but ground types could be a little bit of an issue for his team. Yeah, it could be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, he definitely has very good pickups. I mean, Mammo, Gengar, Dhelmise, Incineroar. Dhelmise, I love it. Or my buddy Josh loves. I want to use it, but I think it'd be pretty good. I love the pieces it has. And my boy Josh, he absolutely loves this thing. If he watches this, Josh, talk about Dhelmise in the comments. You know more about it than me. This thing can put in work. I've lost to this thing multiple times. It is kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But Yeah, he definitely has good value pickups, I like. And his team's going to force a lot of 1v1s. Like I said, Mega Gardevoirs or Salamence, Mamoswine, these are Pokemon you're not going to switch into well. Well, maybe Salamence more, but Mamoswine and Gardevoir. Urshifu, Magnezone, Gengar. Magnezone's case, if you don't have a ground type, you're not going to switch into it well. He's going to force a lot of 1v1s, and which is why I think he's going to be forced to play a high running offense, because his opponent, his opponent's going to try to play a defensive game and he doesn't have the proper defense to deal with this, Tenchi's going to run him out of the building quickly, and it's not going to be a fight. So I think Tenchi's going to force his opponent to also be very offensive and force many 1v1s, and just, you know what, I'm not switching out, you're not switching out, one of us is dying. And let me tell you, it's not going to be me. I think Tenchi's going to force that as much as possible. Yes, moving up to number 7, we got the strangest look of Coach KW Dog and the Virginia Litwicks, or the VA Litwicks. I don't know if it's Virginia. I assume it is, but VA Litwicks, we'll just go with that. One of the strangest logos I think I've ever laid my eyes upon, but hey, all power to you. His signature, I love it. I love the Nidoqueen signature pick because at worst, Nidoqueen's a very good hazard setter. Is a defensive hazard setter. I like that. Nidoqueen is a hard Pokemon to switch into because due its dual stab, potentially to run Life Orb with his ability, and you can run a Modest due to it having low speed, and you're not really going to be like, well, I need Timid here. No, you're going to run Modest sometimes. So this thing's going to be hard to switch into. And here's normal Urshifu, which is amazing. I don't even think he drafted this. No, I think this was his first round pick. I believe so. But he ended up stealing that. He definitely wasn't in the top 5. So, or it might have been number 5, I think. But he definitely stole that thing, in my opinion. Aegislash, I cannot wait to see. I've been very interested in that Pokemon, so I want to see how it does with it. Togekiss is mean, of course. It is mean with that Serene Grace, Air Slash, potentially throwing out a T-Wave at you. It can defog, especially with Boots now. It's not going to take those hazards coming in to get rid of them. And I like the Regen Core here, the classic Regen Core. Tangrowth and Slowking. Tangrowth is pretty good, so I like that, and Slowking I enjoy. Personally, Slowking being in A tier, I think might be a little overpriced, but what are you going to do about it? But yeah, I do like this pickup here. Noivern is annoying. I mean, dude, it being super fast, it can be excellent. One kind of strange doubts that I had with this team, and it took me a double take to look at this. He doesn't have a fire type. And I could actually see that being kind of a problem, because outside of Nidoqueen and Urshifu, steel types can be a problem. But Nidoqueen's coming every week, and I don't see many instances where Urshifu doesn't come every week. So it's not too big of a problem. Does he need a fire type? Probably not. Personally, I like to build my cores to have a Fire, Water, Grass, and Fairy Steel Dragon. And in which this case, I like his Fairy Steel Dragon because he's got 2 options. Zygarde 10% and Noivern are both here, both being Dragon types. Zydog, it's a strange Pokemon for me. I'm not too big of a fan of it, but I've seen it do pretty well. I think it's kind of underwhelming in my opinion. But Noivern, I definitely do like. But yeah, Zydog, I don't think Zydog really fits too much with this team. Gives him more speed, but he's also got some good speed already with Noivern and Lycanroc. But if he could switch out Zygarde for something, I probably would. His Mega Pick is also very interesting with Mega Banette, and I don't think interesting for good reasons. I'm not sold on Mega Banette being a decent draft league Mega Pick, and I'm not sold on Lycanroc either. Normal Lycanroc, well, Lycanroc Midday. I'm not too sold on these selections from him, but we will see how he does with them. I mean, Mega Banette has that crazy attack stat, and but I think one downside working against it is, since you can't use Prankster on Dark types now, Dark types are probably coming in on Mega Banette 9 times out of 10, and that really limits some of its options. So I can see that really being a struggle for his team. And yeah, I'm not too sold on Lycanroc. It does not have tough claws like Lycanroc Dusk. But yeah, I am not too sold on it, to say the very least. The Licky pick, I think, is a classic pickup. I really like it. I really like Licky Licky. He's got good defensive core. He's got great offense. But yeah, I like this team. I like this team, but there are aspects I would personally change a bit. I'm not sold on, but maybe you can sell them to me later on in the season. Moving up to number 6, we got the league commissioner himself, Jules, coach of the Umbreon Gallico, which I would like to say, Jules, it literally took you like 2 weeks for you just to say, I'll use last season's logo. Yeah, if you're wondering why this is so late, this is why. So blame him, not me, but also, I got many bones to pick with you, Jules, right now. One, with the logo incident, and two, Mega Aerodactyl's name being too dang long, and I had to screw up my editing a little bit. I'm glad I pointed that out to you guys, and I'll stare at that for a while. But yeah, that really screwed the pooch a little bit with me. But when it comes to Jules, I'm going to start off a little negative here because I'm not sold on Gligar being the signature. I'm not sold on Gligar at all, personally. I'm not a fan of Gligar. Anytime I've played it, it's always been easy to play again. I'm not sold on it. And I'm going to give you crap. I'm going to give you more crap, Jules. You're a league commissioner, but I don't care. I'm not playing this league, so you can't beat me. What are you going to do against me? Huh? Pal? Kick me out? Probably. But Jules had the first overall pick and then proceeded to draft Clefable, which, by golly, why? I like Clefable. Personally, in any league, I don't think you can justify it being a first overall pick, especially when Dragon Ball's on the board. But yeah, I'm going to give you crap for it. I like Clefable. Clefable's mean. I mean, yeah, Clefable, Latios, and Escavalier. That's going to be a fun Fairy Steel Dragon Core. I would like to see it. More of a classic Gen 6 one, especially with Hidden Power Fire Gun. Escavalier is going to have more value. And he doesn't really have to play mind games a little bit, since Escavalier is going to probably go last in most scenarios unless you got a Trick Room up. You don't have to worry about your opponent being like, Technician Ampipom, here's an HP Fire, hold this for me, then die. You don't have to worry about that. But he's got an annoying team, let me tell you. He has an annoying team. That being Clefable, that being Suicune. He's got Salazzle to potentially play Toxic Skull. That's just mean. Yeah, it's just absolutely mean, to say at the very least. The Rotom forms are good. I like the Rotom forms personally. I don't think there's a bad one. Yeah, I'm talking about the ones in Tier 5. I'm talking about Frost and Fan. I don't think they're bad. Rotom forms are fun. You guys are just mean. The Vikavolt pickup, I'm very interested in. Vikavolt, I am not sold on it, even though I've lost to it. It is good. It is good, but I'm interested to see what he does with it. The Kangaskhan pickup, I think this, once again, kind of exposes D tier to be, kind of shallow. One thing I did not like about this team is he didn't have a fighting type. And I feel like for having a good draft league team, I feel like you need a fighting type. And this was my personal suggestion. I looked at it. I saw Hitmonchan was still there. Now, I think everyone will tell you, Hitmonchan, you feel like it's going to do more than what it actually does. It's not amazing, but it gives you good access to priority. You can rapid spin with it. It's not bad, but it's not great. So if he makes that switch out for Kangaskhan for Hitmonchan, that'll be my personal suggestion. Or switch out Kangaskhan with a fighting type, because I'm not sold on Kangaskhan being a member of this team. He's already got a normal type with Obstagoon, so I'm really not too sold when it comes to that. But back to the pros. I just have written down here Mega Aerodactyl, because Mega Aerodactyl is mean. This thing is absolutely mean. I've played it multiple times before, and let me tell you, I'm thinking of you, Lou. Probably not going to watch this, but yeah, this thing's annoying. It's very annoying. He's got good wall breakers too. Latios, like I said, Mega Aerodactyl. Obstagoon, Suicune, if it starts setting up. Salazzle can be kind of decent. Escavalier, he's also got very good synergy too. I really like it here. I really like his synergy, especially with the additions of Salazzle. I think that he had, that was a trade he made after the draft. Salazzle, Suicune, and Rotom I really like being the Fire, Water, Grass core. I really like it. And the Fairy Steel Dragon of Clefable, Latios, and Escavalier I also really like. So he did well building his cores. And yeah, That's all I have to say about this team. And another negative I have here, I hate to end it on negative, but Jules doesn't have much access to priority, and I think that's going to be kind of a weakness. I believe his only access is... I don't think Obstagoon gets Sucker Punch. Uh, I don't know if Escavalier gets First Impression or not, but I'm leaning more towards no, so I don't think he could use some priority. I mean, that's why I suggest Hitmonchan, but that's personally just me. But moving on to number 5, we got DTN, coach of the Judging Obstagoons. Now, looking at this team, this is a brain-dead team. Rillaboom and Hawlucha. Terrain Hawlucha, that's just mean. We all know it from Coco Hawlucha. It's not Coco Hawlucha, but it's still mean. Rillaboom now got Grassy Slide. You get a massive good priority move. It's a brain dead team in my opinion. Lycanroc Dusk, I don't mind it as a signature pick personally. I don't mind it. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. It's a mid-tier signature pick with me. So consider that a compliment, I guess. But I kind of like it. But at the same time, I can see it kind of being a little liability sometimes. But Fire Water Grass Corp, Rillaboom, Rotom Heat, and Alola is just absolutely mean because as someone who's used Rotom Heat in Gen 8, by golly, this thing is good. I love Rotom Heat in Gen 8. This thing is excellent. It is just, it can be downright annoying, especially now you can throw on boots on it and just say, all right, there's Volt Switch. Electric and Fire is just such an amazing type combo, and Rotom Heat uses it very well. Alomomola, you're not going to one-shot it. Yeah, you may be able to set up on it, but if he plays his cards right, he doesn't have to worry about that. You're not one-shotting this thing. It's good defensive bulk. You can Wish Pass stuff like Rotom. He's got Regenerator, so if he does Wish Pass, he can get that right back. The Fairy Steel Dragon Core of Grimmsnarl, Cobalion, and Flygon I am interested in. Grimmsnarl I really like. I think to able to get from a good team to a great team, I think a Pursuit user is excellent for that. Or not Pursuit, a Prankster user. And Grimmsnarl gives him just that. Cobalion, I really like as a Pokemon. It's very versatile. And Flygon is very interesting. I would like to see it. How he uses it. I like Flygon personally, but when it comes to League format, I'm not too big of a fan of it. But we shall see. And the downsides. Mr. Rhyme. Now, this isn't really as much as a downside as it is just a question mark. Because Mr. Rhyme is a weird Pokemon. Either it sucks competitively, or the coach just makes this thing his kill leader. There is no separation with Mr. Rhyme. There is no in the middle. It is either the worst Pokemon on the team or the best. This thing's weird. So, we're going to see early on whether Mr. Rhyme is which one he's going to be. But the Drifloon pickup, back to the positives, I'm very interested in using that under terrain. I would like to see Drifloon put in some work. I like it as a Pokemon. I've used it before in normal game playthroughs. He also has a good regen core with Galarian Slowking and Alomomola. I like that. I want to see how Galarian Slowking transitions into League format. I cannot wait to say the very least. Yeah, he has good bulk, good hazard control. I would also say that his hazard setup is a little suspect with it being only Flygon and Lycanroc Dusk. But yeah, I do kind of like his hazard control. I mean, it being Rotom Heat, Flygon, Drifloon. It's not. I really like Rotom Heat, so I think that's one thing that really boosts it because you can slap Defog on it with boots, and yeah, sometimes you might want another move, but I don't think it hurts it as much, personally speaking. But yeah, I like this team. It's got fun aspects, and one thing it literally took me a while to notice. It took me a double take to look at this team. It doesn't have a Mega Pick, and nor do I think he needs it. I don't think DTN needs a Mega. I think this team is well constructed to the point where it's like, yeah, you could try to find a way to get on a Mega, but I feel like it might actually hurt the team if he finds one of the remaining Megas. I like how this team is constructed. I personally do, and I don't think it needs that Mega Pick. Yeah, just something I wanted to point out. But yes. Moving on to number 4, we got good old Coach Keto of the Empoleon Conquerors, I believe is the team name. And I'm going to start out here. I know you want to go with the mascot Empoleon. I am not a fan of Empoleon being the signature. I like Empoleon. It's a good Pokemon. I don't think it's a Pokemon. It comes every week. And it coming every week, there's going to be some weeks where I think Keto's going to look at it and go, I have to bring this thing? Really? I think it's going to have some matches where you're just like, oh, this is going to be a liability. But I like his Fairy Steel Dragon Core. I love it. Little Gen 6 throwback. Excuse me. Of Empoleon, Latias, and Sylveon. I love to see that. I love Sylveon. I love Latias. One of my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, I like his Fairy Steel Dragon Core. He's got good offense with Volcarona, Gliscor, which is an absolute value pickup, let me say. When it comes to Keto definitely knocked it out of the park with some value pickups. Tier 2 Sylveon, Tier 2 Gliscor, well, Sylveon's fitted for Tier 2. But Gliscor, Tier 2, I think is criminal. I don't know how this thing is Tier 1. And Keto, please make the league question why this thing was Tier 1 or Tier 2 and not Tier 1. Hitmonlee, I really like. Archeops is going to have some value now with heavy-duty boots. I'm interested to see what he does with that. Jolteon has lost stock due to the loss of Hidden Power. I used to like it. Now I'm not too big of a fan, but I would like to see him put in good work. He's got a very fast team, too. Latias, base 110. Swellow, 125, I believe. Jolteon, 130. Absol, 115. He's a very speedy team. Volcarona, 100. Gliscor, 95. This is a good, fast team. He's got excellent speed tiers, I would like to say. He's got good hazard control, too. Defog on Gliscor, Latias, Empoleon, Rapid Spin on Hitmonlee. He's got Magic Bounce on Absol, too, so if that thing's in on a hazard setter, he can't click it. Unless he predicts a switch, which that's pro play, but Rapid Spin on Zarina, too. He's got excellent options to remove hazards, and maybe some instances where he doesn't have to run boots on Volcarona just because he has excellent ways to get rid of hazards. Yeah, great speed, great hazard control. My one issue with this team, outside of Empoleon, he doesn't have a poison type. And I think he's really going to struggle against fairy types. Fairy types can be an issue for this team. Because, yeah, Latias is weak. Absol is weak. Those are two very key mons for him. Hitmonlee is also weak. Empoleon and Volcarona are his only resist. And Volcarona, I mean, you could have it be the Pokemon that stops fairy types. I'm not saying you can't. All power to you if you can. But I'm not too sold on that being one of your major options of blocking fairy types. But Empoleon, it's good, but I think he needs a poison type, a grounded poison type, if he can fit that in somewhere, especially to get rid of T-Spikes too, because he does have hazard setters, or hazard removers, but if it's not like Gliscor or Latias, then a T-Spike could come in and become a little bit of an issue if he doesn't have like Heal Bell, but I mean, I just had to say a lot there to justify T-Spike, so that really justifies his hazard games. It's more of a minor issue, but I do think a poison type would be good for this team. Yeah. Moving on to number 3, we got the Old English SQ coach Gert Bilbo. And let me tell you, this signature pick is going to make everyone cry, to say the very least. Well, maybe not everyone cry, but Gert Bilbo did an excellent job when constructing this team. He saw value and he took it. Spectrier being the signature pick is going to be mean. Yeah, it's very it's very predictable. It's one-sided. You know what it's going to do, but it's not going to stop it. It's very good at doing what it can do. And what did he do to stop Spectrier from not working? Oh, well, how does it not work? Oh, do you see a fat normal type? Oh, I'm going to grab one of the fattest normal types in Chansey, which now gets access to teleport, so it's not complete setup fodder anymore. Well, it's not. It's you still can, but it's not completely setup fodder. But he's just got so many good pickups. Zapdos, Mega Venusaur, Chansey, like I mentioned, Crocodile, Nihilego, Swampert. I like Passimian. I personally do. It's nice, bulky. The major downside is its speed, but I like it. I want to see him put in work with it. Please do. I love this thing. And good old Tortonator. Oh, I love his pickup, to say the very least. And now with heavy-duty boots, this thing's value has risen. You can rapid spin with it. I hope. Gert, please, buddy, Use this thing, bring it 1 week, put in work. I love my boy Ralph Nader, the Tartinator. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Gert Bilbo's team has excellent synergy, especially on the defensive end. Like, when it comes to fighting types, they're going to pressure Chansey. Oh, he's got Zapdos and Mega Venusaur to able to stop it. Oh no, Psychic types can be a problem for Mega Venusaur. Well, Chansey's going to eat them. Crocodile is immune to them. Metagross is going to take minus, or like 1/4 from it. There we go. 1/4. Swampert 4 times to eat the grass. Oh, yeah, Mega Venusaur's not going to care about grass. Zapdos isn't. Thorntonator isn't. Excellent synergy when walking around his team, to say the very least. Issue I do have with it is his options to break through Spectrier checks, because I like Passimian. I personally do. But as a team that needs a fat normal, that needs something to kill fat normal types, since his signature is a Pokemon that can't deal with them well, he doesn't have many options for that. So I think that's one thing that's going to kind of work against him in some weeks. Yes, he's going to force the normal type, but it might counteract him to now he has to bring Passimian potentially. So yeah, he's going to force the fat normal or dark type, to say the very least. But he's also got very limited options when it comes to hazard removal. Zapdos as a defogger is good, but I don't like it as it being the major source. You got Defog on Ribombee and Rapid Spin on Tortinator, but I don't see those two Pokemon coming every week. So Zapdos, I feel like more often than not, is going to be forced to run Defog unless he plays a game where he forces his opponents to get rid of his hazards. Because, back to the positives. Gert Bilbo built an incredible hazard stacking team. You got Stealth Rocks on Chansey, Crocodile, Nihilego, Metagross, Swampert. You got Sticky Web on Ribombee, Toxic Spikes on Nihilego. I absolutely love his hazard stacking potential. It can just get downright mean. So I think part of his hazard game is going to be saying, yeah, I might not be able to remove mine, but I'm going to make you remove mine, to say the very least. So I think he's definitely got some good, very good support options to play with. So I really like this team. I really do. I cannot wait to be watching his commentaries on this. I cannot wait to see how he preps and plays with this team. Yes. Moving on to number 2, we have Trenel, coach of the Turnbingen Trevenants. And my God, if it wasn't for the number 1 team, this team would have been number 1 easily, because signature pick Milotic, absolutely love it. I think this is an amazing signature pick. Milotic, it can just wall so many things. It's naturally bulky on the special side, and it having access to Marvel Scale and Flame Orb not doing as much damage as it used to. Oh, that is just amazing, to say the very least. This thing's going to wall for days. And Trenel was the lucky bastard at number 2 to snatch up Dragapult, because Jules had it in his mind to get Clefable now. Oh man, I won't forget that. But it's Dragapult, pick number 2. And then, last pick of the draft, he gets Mega Mawile. He sits on his Mega pick and goes, okay, everyone's pretty much drafted their Fairies, Steel types, or Megas. Yeah, Mawile's going to sit there. I'll sit on it. Excellent draft planning, I would like to say, by Trenel. Another key threat on his team, Buzzwole. This thing is mean without Hidden Power Flying now. It does not die. Like, I'm partially convinced, I don't know the calc, but if you clicked Brave Bird on it from something that wasn't like Staraptor, from like, I don't know, something like, say, Talonflame. He has it though, but that's Pokemon that pops in. I don't think it would die. Like, this thing just has so much bulk on the defensive side, good amount of HP, excellent attack stat. Buzzwole is going to be mean to play against. And that does not mean he's lacking on the defensive side. Porygon and Uxie is downright mean to break through. You're not one-shotting either of them unless you got a massive physical attacker or dark type user. You're not breaking through either one of them. Now, one problem I do see with his defensive core is it's knockoff weak. Because, yeah, on your major offense Pokemon, you're clicking knockoff. But, I mean, Mega Mawile's right there. Milotic, if he gets Flame Orb off, is right there. His defensive core is still pretty good, despite being a little knockoff weak. Cryogonal with the addition of heavy duty boots gains more value now. And this is going to go all the way back to 4 with the Avalugg pick. Yeah, this is why I think Avalugg's overpriced, because I like Cryogonal more than I like Avalugg. I think Cryogonal's better. It's faster. The special side, you don't have to invest into it. I like its coverage. It doesn't have a lot of coverage, but I do like the coverage it gets. It has, also gets recover. It gets rapid spin. I like this pickup. I think it's a value pickup. Talonflame with heavy duty boots. You are now probably guaranteed to get off a priority flying type move. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, the only pick I kind of question a little bit is the Landorus Eye pick. It feels a little out of place with this team, but I don't think that it's not bad, to say the very least. It's not bad. Also with Landorus Eye, let me point this out. It does not get its hidden ability, so it will be a Sand Force Landorus Eye if it comes. That's why it is tier 2, if you're wondering, or A tier. So that, if you're wondering, like, why is Landorus Eye A tier? That's why. But yeah, very fast team too. I mean, Dragapult needs no introduction. You might not even have to invest in speed for it. Some weeks. Superior's there. Landorus, it just gets above 100. Talonflame, Cryogonal, good speed. Uxie's pretty fast for a heavily bulky Pokemon. But looking a little bit on the downside, I don't like it. He has a lack of hazard removal, to say the very least. Like, just looking at it right now, Landorus, I believe Superior does get Defog, and Defog on Talonflame and Rapid Spin on Cryog. So those are Pokemon I don't see coming every week. Superior, no, I don't see it coming every week. So the hazard removal options are a little iffy for me, but the hazard setup, I don't mind. I like Uxie as a Stealth Rocker, and Landorus also there, and I believe that's it for his hazard setup. So, maybe not as great, but the hazard options kind of drag it down a little bit, but just like, this is still an excellent team. Coaches are going to hate playing against Tremolo, to say the very least. The way you're going to beat his offense, you can't play defense against him. You can't. If you do, you lose. You got to play an offensive game like him. Yeah, Tremolo did an excellent job building this team. And last but very not least, the team I personally think is the best drafted is Capador, coach of the New York Metas. Oh my god, from top to bottom, this team is amazing. Meloetta, I like as a signature pick. You can potentially do Pirouette. It's a little more gimmicky, but you can. It's like the Savali pick. It gives you another option, a completely new Pokemon. Melmetal being an excellent pick. How are you going to deal with Melmetal? Oh, you got to put Rocky Helmet on something. It's got to be also really bulky too on water or steel sign. If it's water, it's got Thunder Punch anyway, so it's got to be a water ground or something like that. It's a mean Pokemon. Mega Gallade is another Pokemon I personally think is one of the best in Draft League format. Capador ended up waiting on this. I don't think he got it in the last round, but he definitely did get it in the first round. This is a first round Pokemon. This is a Pokemon I think you can justify being a first round pick sometimes. Well, Dragapult I think is 9 times out of 10 the first overall pick. Mega Gallade I think can make that argument 1 out of 10 times. Cinderace. Also, Cinderace will not get its hidden ability. It is a Blaze Cinderace, so no Libro Ace. But yeah, Cinderace is amazing. Tapu Fini, Kyurem, Shaman, Galvantula, Donphan, Miltank. I really like all these picks. This offense is absolutely lethal. Melmetal, Gallade, Cinderace is, you know, it's not hyper strong on attack stat, but it can 2-hit KO a lot of things with the coverage it gets. So it's definitely something coaches will have to worry about. Kyurem is an excellent Pokemon. Oh, he's got amazing offense, and that does not take away from his defensive side. Shaman and Tapu Fini. Shaman can be offensive, but Shaman defense is pretty good. Gives him Leech Seed. Tapu Fini gives him a Taunt User, Defog, and also with Misty Terrain, he doesn't have to worry about something getting paralyzed, which I think is the major way to deal with stuff like Gallade. Is, alright, I gotta paralyze this thing. Oh, well, if Misty Terrain's up, then you're not really going to do that. So I think he has excellent synergy here. Miltank is criminally underrated in my opinion. I love this Pokemon. This Pokemon's amazing. Its abilities just blast this thing out of the water, to say the very least. Miltank can wall stuff for days. Like, as a person who hates playing against Victini, by golly, this thing walls any Victini. It does. It does. Maybe not any Victini, but most Victinis, this thing will wall easily. So Miltank, value pickup. Donphan, not bad. Donphan's I'm iffy on. I can see it. Sometimes it's either really good or it's more of a hassle. So we'll see how Cap does with it this season. Capador. Yeah, Stealth Rocks, Rapid Spin gives him that option there. He's got a lot of good rockers and hazard setters. He got Stealth Rocks on Donphan, Miltank, Sticky Web on Galvantula, which I'll get back to, and hazard stacking potential on Garbodor with spikes and T-spikes. I'm interested to see on the Garbodor pick. I haven't really seen it too much on competitive, so I want to see what he does with it. But yeah, I really like this team from top to bottom. Every pick was, I believe, like heavily thought out. Him, Trenell, Gert Bilbo. I think from like 5 and up, I think these selections were all just. I feel like the coach behind the scenes was making excellent changes if something got sniped, because these are all very well built teams, and I want to say that at least all of them have had one snipe during the draft. So you know what? I think they did an excellent job building those teams. Cap's just my favorite. The synergy's amazing. Excellent speed tiers too. 110 with Mega Galade. His fastest Pokemon being Cinderace too. I always forget its speed tier. It's like in the 120s, I believe. Or it might be 119. Might be 119 to think about it. But he is semi-fast. He's got good speed tiers, but doesn't have a stupid fast Pokemon. But he's got good speed with Cinderace. One thing I also really like about this team is the Galvantula pick, because in my humble, I like Galvantula as a Pokemon, and every time I see it in League, I always see it have the same issue. Galvantula always ends up surrounded by Pokemon that rely on Sticky Web, and I think that decreases Galvantula's value. Sticky Web's a good move, but I genuinely think it hurts Galvantula more than it helps, and Cap set it up here to where Galvantula doesn't need to set up Sticky Webs. He can have it on Galvantula just in case, but he doesn't go, well, okay, I need to set up Sticky Webs this week. He doesn't really need to say it. Maybe like against Dragapult, but that's it. That is it when it comes to that pickup there. And that's what I like. It's very well thought out, but it also doesn't heavily rely on some of his Pokemon running certain sets. So I really like that with Cap's team. I really don't have much negative to say. I really like this team. I think it's excellent. But yeah, number 1, Capador. So yes, those have been the post-draft power rankings for the PWC Season 5. I cannot wait to get into this season, and hopefully in a couple weeks, you'll have the Week 1 power rankings, and we'll see how each coach did their first week using their brand new teams. Check me out on YouTube. It is FrankandtheFurious. I'll leave a link in the description below. Name is Frank. Thank you all for watching. But above all else, have fun this season to all the coaches, and I hope you all enjoy watching.